What if the greatest gift you can give is actually an obstacle that forces someone to become who they are meant to be? Let me introduce you to a little red door at the end of an alley you've probably walked past 1,000 times. Your best friend is turning 30, and because you're not just any friend, because you're the kind of friend who actually remembers birthdays without Facebook reminding you, you head into town with $100 and a mission. You know your friend. They love sweets. There is a new bakery, the kind that smells like sugar and nostalgia and warm ovens. You walk in and discover something clever. You can give them a photo and an AI machine will carve that face into cookies. One cookie for every year of their life, from age 1 to age 30. Baby photos rendered in buttercream. Awkward teenage years immortalized in snickerdoodle. Their college graduation frozen in chocolate chip. A timeline you can eat. It's beautiful. It's thoughtful. It's exactly $100. And then you realize you forgot your wallet. It feels like a mistake, an annoyance. You tell the baker you'll be back tomorrow. You step out of the shop, frustrated by your own forgetfulness. You don't realize it yet, but that forgotten wallet wasn't just an inconvenience. It might have been an intervention. You step back outside. The street is blocked. Construction. You take a narrow alley instead, the kind you normally would not notice. And hanging there is a small wooden sign over a red door. It reads, "Cookies from another world." What the hell? Let's check it out. Inside, nothing looks like a bakery should. There are no glass cases, no prices, no smell of butter or sugar, just dust, cobwebs, ancient maps, bottles filled with liquids that seem to move on their own, a taxidermied owl that you're almost certain just blinked. But there, in the center of it all, sits a glass display case, and inside that case, rows of cookies that look like they've survived centuries, and behind the counter, turning slowly to face you, is Rumpelstiltskin. He doesn't ask what you're looking for. He already knows. "I have exactly what you need," he says. He reaches into the display case and pulls out a single cookie. It's gray, cracked. It looks like something you'd find in an archaeological dig, not a bakery, the kind of thing that would break a tooth and taste like disappointment. The terms of the gift are simple but terrifying. "One bite," he explains, "and your friend, who has never exercised a day in their life, who has never run for anything other than the ice cream truck, will run a full marathon before their 31st birthday. No matter how lazy," Rumpelstiltskin continues, "no matter how painful, every day the cookie will pull them out of the couch, into their running shoes, and out the door. They will hate it sometimes, they will want to quit, but they will not, and a year from now they will have done something they currently believe is impossible." He slides the cookie toward you. $100. You are a good friend. You only get to choose one. The sweet gift or the bitter one. And if we are honest, this is not really about cookies or marathons. It is about how we think kindness works. So here you are, standing in the dim light of a shop that probably doesn't exist on Google Maps, holding two possible futures in your mind. Behind you, down the street, there's a bakery full of sweetness, a gift that will make your friend smile immediately, that will taste like love and look like memories, that will be gone in a week, digested and forgotten, leaving behind nothing but a pleasant warmth and maybe a few extra pounds. The stale cookie does not give your friend a medal. It gives them mornings when the bed feels heavy, rainy days when quitting feels logical, legs that burn, and also memories. The memory of tying shoes when no one is watching, the memory of choosing not to stop, the memory of becoming someone they did not recognize a year earlier. So, which one makes you a good friend? We could gently ask ourselves which memory matters more, the taste of a cookie that disappears in minutes, or the quiet internal shift that says, "I am the kind of person who does hard things." We live in a world that often paints morality in black and white. Comfort is good, struggle is bad, pleasure is a reward, pain is a punishment. But sometimes the hand that offers you a sweet is the one that keeps you sedated. And sometimes the hand that pushes you into the thorn bush is the one waking you up. Sometimes a kind action looks unkind at first glance. Sometimes suffering is not the villain of the story, but the price of entry. And of course, nothing here is certain. These are possibilities, thought experiments. Maybe the bakery gift is exactly what your friend needs right now. Maybe joy is the medicine. I think perhaps we secretly crave the bitter cookie, not because we love pain, but because we love the version of ourselves that only appears after it. We don't want the process, we want the result. We wish someone would bypass our weak will and force us into our own potential. We want to be past the pain. We want to wake up and already have the memories of not quitting. We want to be 31 at the finish line. There's a philosopher named Nietzsche who once wrote something that sounds absolutely horrible out of context. He said he wished suffering upon all his friends. And if you stop there, if you just read that line and close the book, Nietzsche sounds like a monster, like someone you'd unfriend in real life and unfollow online. But Nietzsche wasn't wishing pain on people for the sake of pain. He was pointing at something uncomfortable about how transformation actually works, something we all know but prefer to forget when it's convenient. Here's the thing about gifts. There's a difference between what makes someone happy and what makes someone better. And most of the time, those two things aren't even in the same neighborhood. The cookie box is happiness. It's warm and immediate and requires nothing from the recipient except the capacity to chew. It says, I see you, I know you, I want you to feel good right now. The stale cookie is something else entirely. It's the friend who tells you the truth when the truth is awkward. It's the mentor who gives you the assignment that makes you want to quit. It's the life event that strips away your excuses and leaves you standing in running shoes at 6 a.m., wondering how you got here. It's the gift of becoming someone you couldn't become on your own. Think about every meaningful change you've ever made, every skill you're proud of, every version of yourself that you like better than the version that came before. The world isn't divided into good and bad experiences. It's more like that trickster in the fairy tale. It's Rumpelstiltskin. It's a riddle wrapped in a deal, wrapped in a name you have to guess. Not all kind actions are kind. Some forms of niceness are just elaborate ways of keeping someone exactly where they are, and not all suffering is evil. So let me ask you something. Think about your own life for a moment. Think about that thing you've been wanting to change, the habit you've been meaning to build, the version of yourself that exists in your imagination, but never quite shows up in your mirror. If someone handed you a stale magic cookie right now, if someone offered to drag you kicking and screaming toward that better version, would you eat it, or would you choose the box of sweet cookies instead? Because here's what might be true. Most of us are standing in that dusty shop every single day. The choice between sweet and bitter isn't something that happens once in a fairy tale. It's happening constantly, every morning when the alarm goes off, every time we pick up the phone or the book or the running shoes or the remote control. We're always choosing between the gift that feels good and the gift that makes us good. There's a reason we tell stories about tricksters, about Rumpelstiltskin and Loki and the Cheshire Cat and all those figures who never give straight answers. It's because the universe itself seems to operate on trickster logic. The shortest path is rarely a straight line. The easiest choice is rarely the best one. The thing that looks like a curse sometimes turns out to be a blessing, and the blessing sometimes carries a curse inside it, like a nesting doll. The trickster doesn't hate you. The trickster is just honest about how complicated transformation really is. Growth hurts. Change is loss. Every new version of yourself is a funeral for the old one, and somehow that's okay. Somehow that's the whole point. So maybe when Nietzsche wished suffering upon his friends, he was really saying something like this. I'm not the kind of friend who wants you to stay the same. I'm not the kind of friend who only gives you sweet cookies. I'm the kind to hand you something bitter, something that will make you hate me for a while because I've seen the person you could become on the other side of the difficulty. That's the gift from another world. Not the object itself, but the faith behind it. The belief that you can survive the cocoon. The trust that you're capable of wings. It is a terrifying responsibility to hold another person's potential in your hands. We naturally want to protect the people from discomfort, but in doing so, we might be protecting them from their own metamorphosis. So, you're standing in that mysterious shop. You have that $100 burning a hole in your pocket. You have to decide what kind of friend you really are. And maybe, just maybe, you realize something about that moment back in the bakery. Maybe forgetting your wallet wasn't an accident at all, but the universe offering a detour away from the easy path, forcing you to consider that the best gift isn't always the one that tastes sweet.